You're listening to Raised You Better, the mother-son podcast where generational differences, hot topics, and everyday chaos collides, sometimes resulting in one of us saying, I raised you better. I'm Jesse, a 26-year-old content creator whose mom accidentally became an internet sensation. We're close, we care, and we agree mostly, except when we don't. Each week we dig into the issues, culture, and beliefs that make us say, huh? Trying to understand each other. This is real family. This is humor.
This is Raised You Better.
Coming up on today's episode, we're unpacking the devil's lettuce. Is it as bad as my mom believes it to be? We're talking about Jesus. Well, more broadly, we're talking about religion. And yes, we'll inevitably ask the question, if Jesus did exist, would he be indulging in that good kush? And lastly, the guy who invented the rule, no sex before marriage, definitely had a micro penis. He was definitely hiding something. I grew up in basically your household for the entirety of my childhood.
I am your mother.
Yes. No, but, divorced family.
Yes.
But would you consider yourself like a mega religious person? No.
But
mildly religious?
I believe in God.
Okay.
I raised you guys as believers.
Uh-huh.
We were not weekly church-going family.
At one point, we were.
Well, you guys went to Awana. We did certain things. We said our prayers before meals on those big Christmas dinners and Easter dinner and all that. But no. But I am a believer in God. I believe that, he steers my life. I try to be a good person because I do believe in heaven. Mm-hmm. And I raised you guys that way too.
And I couldn't be farther from that thinking.
Which is distraught. It's makes me sad.
I am sorry you feel sad about that, but it actually makes me happy.
What?
I couldn't be farther from those beliefs. Even though you raised me, I'm not a believer.
And that's not something that I can change your mind on, but I don't know. This is a hard one because I believe that those feelings that you feel in your stomach when you do something bad, I feel like that is our inner force. And if you don't have that inner force, it just, where's the accountability for people to be good people? You know what I mean?
And I would consider those same feelings to be anatomy and manifestation.
Yeah, and this is where we're different because I witnessed the miracle of childbirth.
You always come back to this.
I'm sorry.
When in fact, childbirth is the very epitome of science, reproduction at a cellular level. So that very argument totally contradicts the believing.
That did not come from a big bang and amoebas blowing up and all
amoeba
crap.
is not the correct term.
My body fed your body for 9 months.
And that is the most scientific thing
that your
possible.
DNA is still inside of me? Like, honest to goodness.
Right.
Like, that is not
and
something
the same
that
can
is
be said.
cellular. That is so much more.
That absolutely is cellular.
I don't believe it's cellular. And this is where we have to agree to disagree. I think, here's my point. I think you don't agree in this because there have been people that call themselves a certain religion, whether it's born again Christians or whatever. You've heard those people say things that you don't agree with. And I think instead of breaking down beliefs, you chose to not believe in God.
I have 4 main disagreements.
Okay.
1, if you're doing hard work and improving yourself and getting yourself to where you need to be, why would you give up that glory and that credit to some imaginative figure? That belongs to you. That's your credit. That's not some magical doing of God. 2nd,
God put that inside of you and made that.
There is no hate like Christian love. I have to say.
Okay, so you're putting that on Christians, though.
This is just one of my arguments.
In God.
Okay, fair enough. I meant as a religious thing. I'm online a lot. You're online. I get a lot of hate comments. And if I go to their bio online, you can bet your ass that there's a cross, a Bible verse, or Jesus first in there.
Yeah,
every single time.
That's unfortunate because I'm not a hater. I love people unless they're shitty ass people.
Okay.
If they're shitty ass people, I don't like you.
Right.
But it doesn't matter if you are gay, straight, black, white, anything. If you're a good person, I believe that God loves you and I love you too. So I feel bad that there are those.
All right,
those,
but let's talk about that because there's very instances written down in the Bible that expel God's love from some groups of people.
And I choose not to agree with that.
So you're determining what God allows personally?
No, I don't think there's any. I think I choose to think of God as an overseer and wanting us to do good and be good. Okay? I choose not to look at Bible verses that say this is bad. We know if you murder somebody, you're bad.
Well, that's
if you
ethics
kill
and
somebody,
morals. Those
you're
are
bad.
your values as a human being.
And I agree with those values.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think somebody should tell people who they love. I don't think people.
But the very Bible does that. So you're contradicting yourself here.
I never said I read or I go by the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I said I believe in God. And
I think
a
what
higher
you're
power.
referencing to is that you believe in a higher power.
I believe in God. I believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Okay.
I believe in that He made me and gave me the ability to make you.
If you believe that, then I am happy for you. I'm not going to try to change your view. And I asked you that you don't change mine. I don't think you're trying to.
But I think you are looking at I think you're looking at specific people and you're tying them
Absolutely
to
not.
a religion. And
I think
it makes
inherently
you not want
there
to
is
be
an
that
issue
religion.
that I have with it. Religion has been tied to oppression and control. There's contradictions in Bibles that were written 25 years apart. There's
agree.
entire religions that are made up to expel African Americans. There's religions that believe that when they die, they're going to inherit planets with whores.
Well, and that's why I am very specific when I say that I believe in God and
But
I
if
believe
you
in good.
believe in something that big and that certain,
Yeah.
how can you only believe particular portions of that?
Because I choose to. That's why. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the Bible is wrong or right. It's just I choose to live my life loving God and believing that the inner voice inside of me is to follow and be good, a good person.
Right.
And that's what I choose.
And you know what? I am not saying that Jesus didn't exist. I'm just saying he could have just been a guy that was assigned some fake divine aspect. That's what I'm dispelling. If Jesus had the power to, come back, part the sea, whatever he did, he's basically as real as Superman. And in fact, Superman is more real to me.
He's God's son. So if you believe in God, you believe in Jesus. But some parts of the religion don't. And you know what? That's why I listen. I can't. Like I said, I don't know if God's words are in the Bible. I believe that God's words are inside me and they hold me to a higher ethics and morals.
And I think that thinking could be beneficial. Absolutely. There's actually this quote. I think it says, "One who believes has everything to gain and nothing to lose." And I do resonate with that in some way, but deep down, I rebuke it. It's just not something.
And I think you're rebuking it because you're looking at these other people.
You keep saying that. What people?
The people you just told me about that you're reading online, and you went and you see that there's a cross and you see that they're tied to something. It's those people that are spewing hatred that make you not believe.
Absolutely. And I tell you on a deep down level, I disagree with the whole idea that there's a magical, all-knowing, all-seeing person up in the sky, or at least was at some point, dictating trillions of movements.
He's not dictating. That's the thing. He gave us free will, and unfortunately, we fucked that up pretty good, haven't we? But I do believe.
And I think the religious people are at fault for most of that fuck up.
Well, I don't know. And
Let's
I'm
talk
not going
about
to make
some of the biggest tragedies
statements.
in
And
human
again,
history were driven by racial or religious disagreements.
And I don't think that's God. I think that's people. And I think that's evil. And this is how I choose to live my life. And that is, I try to do the best I can every day to be a good person.
And I, as a non-believer, do the same. And I allot that to a moral and ethical code or values.
And I do too.
That are probably instilled from you.
I hope so.
So in retrospect, maybe you had some success in relaying some of those values to me. But I mean...
And believe me, if I could change your mind, I would change your mind.
And if I could change your mind, I would change your mind.
And we got to agree to disagree on this.
So.
Bottom line is, you're my kid and I love you. And it doesn't really, that's not the end all be all. That you have to agree exactly with what I agree in. Because that it's not reality, right? We have to start thinking.
You said it.
We have to start thinking in this world, especially now, that it's okay to disagree on things. The important thing is we should be able to just discuss it and not start threatening and doing things for people that don't align with you.
I agree.
So if we can talk about subjects and disagree respectfully, maybe you took away something today. Maybe I took away something today, you know?
I didn't move at all. Sorry, my dial stayed right where it was.
No, because you actually said I instilled some things in you growing up. And you know what? Those things were instilled upon me from my belief in God.
Okay.
So there. I just won that argument. I just won it.
All right,
there.
if you say so.
Yes. Moving on.
All right, so back to this Jesus thing. If he did exist, I mean, this guy looks like a stoner. He's got the long hair. He's got the slouchy clothes. This guy would definitely have smoked reefer. I don't even know was marijuana around?
I don't know. In biblical times, I don't know.
It's a plant. It must have been.
I don't know.
Probably in some sense.
And maybe it was medicinal at some point. I'm telling you, like, I don't know if he did. I'm not going to judge him either way. But if there was weed around in those days, it was definitely not on steroid weed that we have today.
I would agree with you there. And actually, was the term devil's lettuce, was that created in the 80s?
I don't know the devil's lettuce. But you know what's so funny?
Yeah.
Do you know that the date for, is it April 4th? What is it?
420?
420. That was made at my high school.
Was it?
Yes, San Rafael High.
Oh.
Now, it was not my grade. It was many years before.
And it's a cop code, right?
No, I don't know what it is. But
we
it
got
originated...
a 420. It means like someone in possession of marijuana, I believe.
No, I don't know what it means, but it started at San Rafael High.
I could be dead wrong.
I don't know.
So I don't think it was created to celebrate a day for smoking weed. I think it was the cop code that they call in when someone is in possession of the devil's lettuce. And
I don't know. I know
reversal,
it originated at SR.
There's this mass celebration on the day that kind of fits.
Yeah.
But
you know I am not a fan of marijuana. And it's just not something I like and I haven't liked. And that's because I saw daily users use it and lose their
drive.
And I saw people that are extremely talented that could have done so much settle for that. And now I hate it even more because it's been bred to be so strong. And first of all, like, our kids' brains are not developed. So when you put something this powerful and kids are doing it daily and it's creating issues, and maybe it is creating a lot of the issues that are ADHD and
I don't
and
think
things
there's any
like that.
science tied to that argument, but
Well, maybe not
you're getting it
science,
somewhere.
but I don't know.
Well, if not science, then what? Science should be at
Well,
the core of.
Science, just because I say science, it maybe hasn't been proven, but it has been proven that it is not good for developing brains. It's not good.
Okay.
And that scientifically has been studied, not by me, by other people much smarter. And I do also think that it becomes a gateway into drinking and smoking pot could become a gateway into heavier drugs. And these days with fentanyl around, like, one pill can kill, babe.
Okay, but let's talk about the other side of cannabis. There's real medical benefits that research supports: pain management, nausea relief, muscle spasticity, and even sleep help. It helps with people on cancer recovery.
And
helps
if
with
that
ADHD.
helps them, then 100%. Those are adults. It's now legal.
Right.
And even before it was legal for, general use, it was legal for medicinal use. If that helps somebody that is struggling with pain or symptomatic issues or sleep, God knows, sleep would be great for me right now. I am not saying I'm against that.
Right. But you would classify it as dangerous?
Nowadays, absolutely.
I would agree with some of the strains. But let's think about it and compare it to alcohol. I don't think in history, in fact, I'm looking at some information here, there is no one direct linked fatality linked to cannabis or marijuana, whereas alcohol is tied to tens of thousands of deaths each year in the United States.
And
so if we were to look solely at numbers,
yes,
there's a clear danger and then there's a clear safe way to go.
And in that case, all I can say is I make my decisions up from personal experience, and people have to do the same. And I can't say it's not right. I'm also saying, listen, like, alcohol does kill. I get it. I see it's a huge addiction and a huge disease. And I think it's just as dangerous for kids to start drinking alcohol early as well.
Okay.
It really does change the course of a lot of things. Not that I didn't do it when I was a kid. I can't say that. So I say all these things tongue in cheek because I understand that it is a hot topic. And
I see. This is confusing me because eventually I do see perhaps you and I taking like a little nibble of an edible and like hanging out at a resort. Would you be?
I don't
like. What if
think
we're
so.
safe? We're not driving.
I bought some pot beverages. I think you actually snuck one.
I didn't have to sneak it.
Well, it was there forever.
It was there for the taking. Yes.
No, it was there but I was too scared to do it because
it was
I
delicious.
don't want to get in a space where my brain. I don't like this. I don't like how I feel stoned.
I would agree. I don't usually either. And in fact, I was conservative when consuming that beverage that you had. And I drank half of it, and it still was too much for me. But I just know I don't like weed. It's not for me. I will occasionally indulge in an edible, like a little nibble, but that's just...
And I may just be one that is worried about the strength these days. I have smoked pot before. I grew up in the 80s.
That was, what do they call it, skunk weed or dirt pot?
Well, skunk, I don't know what it was. I never bought it. It was just there. And
what
I will
do you
say,
mean?
I mean, I never bought it. I would never go out and buy dime bag or I don't. It was everywhere. You go to a party and it was there. First of all, I'm a little OCD. So
well, can you tell me about the first? Okay.
Like a spitted old wet thing, I'm not putting that in my mouth.
Right.
Like even with the little roachy
and
clip.
In the 80s, there was angel dust was popular, right? Isn't that like speed crystals like sprinkled in?
Angel dust.
Angel dust.
Speed was definitely around. Angel dust sounds no.
I think it was crushed up something.
I don't know.
Anyway,
speed was speed and cocaine and pot.
Well, you grew up in the 80s, so
I grew up in the 80s, and we were the generation before us was destroyed by heroin. So
really,
we were very scared of anything that you shot up. anything that was like
I thought
in
that
your
was a
arm.
newer epidemic.
No.
I hadn't even heard
look at
of.
Lawrence's.
I thought it was opioids that was the issue back then.
No. Opioids are, being stolen from.
I did see that.
Yeah, I mean
that's crazy.
they're all over. People are going to open houses and getting opioids. Those are like pain meds and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so what was do you remember the first time you got high on the good Kush?
Yes, I remember the first time I smoked pot. Yeah.
Were you with Auntie?
No.
No.
We didn't smoke pot because I'll tell you this.
But you just said you did.
But that we didn't yes, we have smoked it.
It wasn't a habit, you mean?
No. That made you want to eat. Like in the 80s, we were worried about being skinny.
Right.
We're not going to do something that made us get the munchies.
Okay, so how
right
old
off
were
the bat,
you?
I think I was
Disclaimer.
probably like 13 years old. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it was disgusting.
I'm sure.
So I could probably today count literally
times?
on one hand, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe half of a second hand, but it was never anything for me. Not that I
And
was
is that
a goody
smoking
two-shoes.
everything? Like I know you've told me a story that you've tried a cigarette once where
Yeah,
you just don't like inhaling stuff at all.
The cigarette was disgusting. Yeah, no. And I don't even know why I tried it because all of my parents smoked.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't
Your
know.
grandma,
Oh, I knew
your
grandma
grandpa,
did. Yeah.
Nana Sherry, she smoked, and I would smell it on my hair. So I don't even know why I did take a puff, but yeah, I stole a pack of cigarettes. Nana Sherry caught me. It was with me and my friend Andy. Andy was a girl, and it just was not something I wanted to do.
I will say when I am in Europe, I can appreciate a good cigarette after a meal. It's everybody does it.
And
though.
you have asthma. Like,
Well.
I raised you better, dude. I raised you better. Like, that's just stupid. Sorry.
All right, here's our caller hotline where one of you calls in with some type of parent-child related drama or complications. And my mom and I offer our thoughts or perhaps tell you that you need to seek professional help. My mom hates my boyfriend for no reason. She makes passive-aggressive comments every time he's around, and she says she just has a feeling about him. Do I trust her instincts, or is she just being controlling? This is a woman, by the way.
Okay. So go for it. You give your thoughts on this.
I mean, I think the whole judging boyfriend things is tricky because a lot of the times when you're in a relationship, you're blind to some of the bad qualities that other people can see so blatantly. And I hate to play devil's advocate immediately, but, he could just be a real piece of shit.
He could be.
Yeah. So, I mean, do I trust her instincts or is she just being controlling? I don't think this is controlling. Unless...
Okay, you're missing two very important words.
Yeah.
Passive-aggressive comments.
Right. But if
Okay.
he's a douchebag, you're going to be passive-aggressive. That's what I'm getting at.
I'm going to say, hey, Jesse, this concerns me. I noticed this about this person, and this concerns me. Mm-hmm. Are you going to listen? You're not going to listen.
No.
And neither is this person going to listen either. This is the true frustration with parenting, because no matter how we say it, it's going to get dismissed. It's going to get huffed and puffed back,
Right.
and eye rollings and all that kind of stuff. So what I try to do, and believe me, there have been a few partners that you guys have introduced me to that I have not liked. But I also know that I didn't have any real hardcore facts on this. Mm-hmm. And I just tried to keep my eyes open. And sure enough, those people proved to be who they were, right? And, it's just this is a no-win situation.
Right.
It's just no win.
I would agree with you there. Is that it? Yeah.
I mean, passive-aggressive, though, is not the way. If there is concern, it needs to be said in a way that your son or daughter can understand. And put some facts on the table.
I would agree. I need to know what this feeling is.
Yes.
She needs to.
It can't be just because he's got long hair,
Right,
or she's got a tattoo, or I do have issues with neck tattoos, though. So I could see myself, like, if you guys brought somebody home with a neck tattoo, I may also be like, oh shit. You know, so it's one of those things, right?
Well, at least that's a physical aspect that she would have an issue with. It says here that she just has almost like an inkling.
Yeah.
I need more information, I think.
Yeah.
I think you need to seek professional help on this one.
I think you need to talk to your daughter. Like, have some real talk. Quit the comments and have some real talk.
Up next, We're Too Old for This, where I break down something for my mom that only chronically online people know about. Today, I'm going to explain what touch grass means. Coming up next. All right, Mom. So touching grass, have you heard this saying before? It's kind of like slang.
No, but is it about pot? Because we were just talking about pot.
It's not, but I can see how you would say that. So it's essentially your version of get a life.
Get a life.
Right.
Okay.
So
touch grass.
Touch grass.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
internet slang for saying go outside, stop being online, go
Okay.
touch something real.
I like
touch the
it.
ground, ground yourself.
I like it.
But it's not necessarily being used in the most endearing way. It's people are dropping in comment sections being like this is stupid, go touch grass. You know what I mean? I would say it's a great comeback. It's a great response
Yeah.
because sometimes people don't realize how delusional they can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I like this. I may use this.
Yeah.
Touch grass.
And I think it actually is an older term because I've definitely heard this before, like
I've
go
never
touch
heard
some grass.
Never heard it.
You know?
I mean, hug a tree. I've heard
Yeah.
hug a tree.
Yeah.
But not touch grass.
All right, up next are Reddit and Wept. This is Reddit and Wept, the segment where Mom and I read a Reddit thread relating to parental complications, family drama, or something else that prods our interest. Am I the jerk for refusing to let my stepson move into my son's room to solve my husband's parenting issue? This sounds sticky. All right, let's start us off. I, 39 female, have one child, a 15-year-old son. My husband, 42 male, has 3 kids from his previous marriage. Twin boys at 15, I can relate, and a daughter at 12. We've been married for 4 years, and everyone lives in my house, which I owned before we got married. Okay, so I think that's an important piece of information as we get into this.
Yes.
Right now, the twins share a room. I hated that, I have to say. My husband's daughter has her own smaller room, like it should be, and my son has had his bedroom since he was little.
Okay, because it's her
always
house.
had. It's always been his space.
Okay.
The problem is the twins constantly clash. I can relate to that. It's not normal sibling bickering. It's daily screaming matches, broken belongings, accusations of taking things, and sometimes things disappearing altogether.
Wow.
One of the twins in particular has a habit of going through other people's stuff and helping himself. Sticky fingers. We've replaced headphones, game controllers, and clothes. You name it.
Okay.
My husband says he's tried everything and doesn't know how to make it stop. His solution is now to separate the twins by moving one of them into my son's room. Okay, so this makes sense, but I can see how it can get complicated.
So she's basically saying no. She's coming back saying this is basically our house. This has been my son's room the whole time.
Right. So it says, I immediately said no. My son has already had issues in the past with the same stepbrother that was going into his things without permission. I ended up installing a lock on my son's door after an incident with missing money. My husband didn't like that because he felt like it sent a message that the kid wasn't trusted. But frankly, he wasn't acting trustworthy. Now my husband insists that the only way to stop the constant fighting is to split the twins up. He says it's unfair that my son gets his own room while his boys have to share. I told him this house has always been my son's home, and his room is not up for negotiation. I have to agree so far. I suggested other arrangements, rotating rooms, putting the 12-year-old in with one of the twins and the other twin alone, even converting the den temporarily. He shot down all of those ideas. He said mixing the boys and their sister was absolutely not happening, and that my refusal to give up my son's room shows I don't treat his kids equally. The argument escalated. I told him this isn't my son's responsibility to fix, but he needs to address the behavior problem instead of reshuffling rooms. He accused me of being selfish, unsupportive. He even packed a bag and left to stay with a friend, saying he can't live in a house with constant chaos, that he won't come back until I reconsider. He asked me, what?
Just jump.
Okay.
He's been gone a couple
Hold
days
on, let me finish
now.
it.
All right.
He's been gone a couple days now. The fighting between the twins is still happening, and I'm stuck in the middle of it. It honestly feels like he's trying to pressure me into giving in by withdrawing. So, am I wrong for refusing to let my stepson move into my son's room, even if it might reduce the fighting? I'm going to immediately say, no, you're not the asshole.
This is tough because we're talking about a blended family. You know about that. We're talking about this husband moving in with 3 kids into a house that was already hers and her son's. And it sounds like there's some real issues.
I would say the first red flag to me is that you need a new husband. These are his kids, and he's leaving because he can't handle the chaos.
You can't just say that they have to split up because of this. You can't just say...
No. What I'm saying is it's unfair of him to not offer other solutions when she says no, and then going even further to removing himself. He's going to stay at a friend's house, letting her...
that is a little
That's
cheesy,
what I'm saying.
because he left his kids to be taken
That's
care
what I
of,
mean by
but-
that. That's a red flag.
And I agree with that, but this is a very tough situation, and the fact is they need to work together, and they're not working together. I hear a lot of mine and yours, and that never works. So, you know...
Who do you think is less wrong, I guess, then?
I don't think you can say who's wrong or right in this situation, because...
I align with the mother's point of view.
I think that's too easy to take sides, right? I mean, yes, I can see where she feels like this is really unfair. This is my kid's room.
She's been offered a solution that didn't work for her because of situations in the past. She was worried about her son's belongings being stolen again.
Yeah.
She offered converting the den. He said no.
Well, and that could be a red mark on him. I think if she's offering suggestions that could work, he needs to get on board.
Exactly.
I think he is taking the easy way out by leaving. And yes, I do believe that he's kind of by abandoning, forcing her to do it. Because now she's thinking, am I going to lose my husband? This is a very tough situation. And I will say, as a stepmom, you can't use mine and yours. We have to start figuring out ours. You chose to get married to each other
Right.
with these previously born children. Now you got to work together. This is where it gets hard, right? And this is where a lot of split ups happen, because it is, I know I feel defensive sometimes, like when Lawrence used to say things about you guys when you were little. And I'm sure he has felt very defensive when I have criticized the way he parented. So this is a very, very tough situation.
Right. I think there's only one clear avenue, and it potentially won't work because it requires money, but a bigger house would solve this issue.
A bigger house, but I also do think that they probably need to get some counseling if they're both open
professional
to it.
help.
Yeah, for sure. This is a situation that unfortunately happens too much, and put the time and effort in, and you can solve it. These kids aren't going to be
You know
in
what's
your house
funny about this
forever.
is I don't know if maybe you sheltered us from it, but I never felt like I wasn't in my own home. I guess we always were in our own home, but even...
Well, Lawrence and I chose not to get married while his girls were under 18 because they had their own issues, right? And I parent differently than they had been parented. And this is something I maybe think we could have done better, because I do think that I should have fought a little harder to...
For what?
I don't know. I don't want to name names, but I think I could have fought a little harder to help and pull in.
Be a figure of guidance.
Yes, especially to, the youngers.
Yeah.
But again, this is just a very hard thing to deal with. It is. And so he came in on his own. The girls were old enough and they lived elsewhere. They never had to come in to our household. I think it would have been.
They did each.
They did each, yeah, because, things happen when you get older and they got to come home. But we worked really hard as step parents to try. He is a very different parent than I am a different parent.
Yeah.
So believe me, it was not easy. And we did go to counseling because it was something, our marriage was important to me. So we went, and sometimes we had to agree to disagree.
Right.
So this is not an easy problem.
Well, you're very anxious attachment, and he's very nonchalant. I don't know what the equivalent.
Anxious attachment.
You have an anxious attachment, which means you hold on to things.
Anxious. So is this?
This is a term.
Okay, this is a term, and
Ancient-
you're a doctor, and you're telling me.
No.
Okay.
Anxious attachment style. So you like to hold on to things. They need resolvement, and
definitely am a problem solver.
Notice he's more. I don't want to talk about it.
He is more, what is that term that he just used? Like, now is not the time. He thinks things will come to their own, they'll come to a culmination on its own.
Right.
Where I am a problem solver, and I believe that there shouldn't be problems. They should be solved as much as they can, or worked on. So yeah, we do differ in that. I think a lot of partners differ in that, right?
That balance works for you guys.
Well, it has. I mean, we've been together a while.
Up next, Older and Wiser, where I asked my mom a riveting question that I should already know the answer to at 26 years old. Okay, Mom, here's the question for today, and this one's a lip biter. When is the right time to tell your kids that Santa Claus isn't real? Now, I don't have kids yet, but I'm imagining I do in the future.
Okay.
Or will. How does
They're going to find out on their own.
Okay, but when?
When some mean kid at school decides to tell them, or a mean older sibling.
Okay.
Or they're like me and like to snoop and find presents under the bed.
So how old were you when you found this out? And I'm curious, when you saw those gifts, what made you instantly think Santa's not real? Did the gift say from Santa?
I found them unwrapped. I know my brother was alive, which meant I was younger than 10. I probably was pretty young, like 7. Unfortunately, I didn't have a really pampered little childhood. I had to grow up pretty quick anyway. But everything I told my dad I wanted, which was these Hello Kitty little tiny stationery sets, all Hello Kitty Barbies, I happened to stumble past all of them. And it was...
Now, you asked your dad for this, or this is a letter to Santa?
I don't know if I wrote a letter, but
because
I said
that would be
Santa.
Right.
No, we didn't get like parent presents back then. You just got Santa presents, like, I think.
So you wrote the letter to Santa, but obviously your dad put it in the mail. And that's how you know, okay.
Or I told Santa when they took me to get my picture taken. I don't know.
I don't even remember when I found out. I think Kai, our cousin, or Nick, older brother.
And what do I always say?
If you don't believe, you don't receive.
That was my answer. If you don't believe, you don't receive.
You like to throw this word around a lot, but I think OG gaslighting is forcing your children to believe in
I don't
this
think that's
fictitious
gaslighting.
figure.
I think that's trying to preserve hope.
Gaslighting is manipulating somebody's reaction or actions in order.
Oh my God. So you're going to try to tell me
you
that
got to be good all year. Otherwise, Santa isn't going to bring you gifts. That is the OG
I don't think
gaslighting.
me saying if you don't believe.
No,
you
I'm
don't
not saying you had malicious intent. Obviously, you're rewarding us. with
I
gifts.
definitely used that, but I don't think I would call that gaslighting.
No, it 100% is. We break it down.
Oh my Lord. It was with good intent, and I think when you gaslight, you don't have good intent. And by the way, BTW, gaslighting is a newer word. It was not around for us in our younger. At least nobody threw that word around like it is now. Like boundaries. We got all these words now that you guys like to throw back at us.
You sound like a Karen.
No, you sound like a Karen. I'm just defending our poor selves as parents.